We are doing a 5-day challenge for self-mastery and the importance of self-mastery for success. So my name is Terry. I'm a business and a life coach. And so one of my favorite topics is talking about self-mastery. And the reason why I love this topic so much is because you can have the business strategy. I'm sure we've all watched webinars, done other challenges, courses, programs about how we can, do maybe email funnels, growing your email list, doing social media marketing, brand personas, discovery calls, the whole gamut. I've definitely done all of that myself, but it wasn't until I learned you have to become the person who has the success you desire until it all starts clicking and making sense. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Awesome. Okay, so once you have your workbook, so we're going to be going through this workbook every day. I'll just do a really quick recap on what we're going to talk about over the next 5 days. So we're not going to be doing too much diving into the business development, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. We'll do questions towards the end. We'll just ask it in the Facebook group in the comments, and then I'll answer any of those questions. But really, day one, we're going to talk about understanding the self and the mind. And so I love this topic. And then creating a clear life vision. We have to have a GPS destination of where we want to go. And all routes are necessary, right? Like you just need to know where you're going. There's a lot of different paths to get there, but the most enjoyable, fulfilling path will be the one that you feel connected and aligned and guided with your values, your life purpose, your genius, your mission. So that's where we're going to start that foundation today and then go into creating that clear life vision. I know when I first started, I had my coaches tell me what to do. So I was, like, oh, I want to start a business, tell me what to do. And then they had told me what they think, but it really wasn't aligned with what was really fulfilling to me. So that's why it's so important for you to really get that connection to who you truly are. And then you can really just be authentically you and know that it's okay. Your desires are put on your heart for a reason. All right. I love seeing you guys here. So exciting. Okay. And then step 3 is going to be tuning in for guidance. That's how do we listen to our intuition? How are we led and taking that inspired action steps? And then day 4 is all about removing those blocks we have. So, we want this abundant life, but we're not seeing it. And so where's the disconnect? We're going to find where that disconnect is. And then day 5 is raising your vibration. Awesome. All right, let's jump into this. I'm super excited to have you guys here. All right, so we're going to just go off of our workbook. And if you don't have the workbook, it should be in your emails. Yeah, and if not in your emails, I will definitely post. Just actually send me a DM with it because I want to send this to your email so you're also getting all the details for each day. So you can just write it in a notebook for today, but it's easy, fillable. And let's get started. Awesome. All right. Oh, we got somebody commenting. So I'm going to send this to your email so you're also. All right. Cool. All right. So we are living on 3 spiritual planes of existence right now. And so really, in truth, we're spirit, but the 3 levels are spirit, mind, and body. So you can fill those out, the 3 different levels. And yeah, in truth, we're spirit, but then we're seemingly living in this body. And what's so interesting about our bodies is that no body is, or anything really is solid. Everything's just moving in a high speed of vibration. So this is like, if you look at, a microscope, then all the atoms are moving. So everything is vibration, everything is energy. And so that's why it's going to be really exciting when we get to day 5, talking about raising our vibration, because really it's just all about becoming that energetic match. But if you don't understand it, it's kind of hard to really wrap your head around all these concepts. So I really just want to build this foundation right now. Level 1 is our body. So we are seemingly in this body, and really it's so fascinating with our body. But yeah, so body, and then the second one is mind, just so you can write it down, and then spirit. So spirit is everything. Mind, there's actually 2 parts of the mind. So I wanted to write it down. I have a whiteboard, but I wasn't really sure where it was. So I'm going to just write it on a piece of paper for the meantime. Okay, you guys. So if you guys study Bob Proctor at all, then you've probably seen this before. But this is the stick person. So Bob Proctor says we think in pictures. And so because we think in pictures, we have to have a vision of the mind. So otherwise you don't really know what you're working with. So, oh, this little, funky stick person, it looks so silly, but it's so powerful, because once you can start seeing yourself as a stick person, then you start seeing everyone else as like this walking stick person. It's like the reason they're responding in the way that they do, the reason that they're saying the things that they do, the reason that they have the beliefs that they have is because of who they believe they are. So mind, body, and spirit. So what happens is, so we have our 3 levels of existence: mind, body, spirit. So I'm going to go in a little bit into the body and the mind. So there are definitely 2 parts of the mind. So this is the next part on the sheet. So there is your conscious mind, and then the subconscious mind. Conscious. Conscious. I don't know if I spelled this right. Okay, so conscious and subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind's constantly taking in information all the time. And what's so interesting about the information that you're taking is it's really going to be, so I guess my coach was telling me we can see about like 20,000 bits, going on at once, but we're only internalizing 2,000. So it's kind of like with water. So I also have Kangen water, and it's microclustered. So the fact that our bodies can absorb like 7 atoms of water molecules or any kind of, like juice at a time. So if your molecules are bigger, then it's not going to be able to absorb properly. So basically, we're only absorbing, like our brains can absorb about 2,000 bits of information at a time. It's like super scientific, but I just love like learning the science behind it, the spirit behind it. I mean, I think, yeah, spirit's everything, but once you have this, you can kind of wrap your mind around these ideas a little bit better. So but what we're taking in is what we're programmed. So basically, if you're programmed to think, in a more positive way, in a more abundant way, you're going to start seeing opportunities, because nothing's created or destroyed. Everything's evenly present around you at all times. And so what you're taking in your conscious mind is going to be like the thoughts you believe. So that's why it's so important. Wherever your attention goes, energy will flow there. Just like you buy a new car, you start seeing that same car everywhere. It's not because all of a sudden, everyone wants to get that car. It's just because that's where your focus is. So if you can focus on abundance, and this is using like your mind. So if you can focus on the abundance, then you're going to start seeing opportunities. And then also you're going to start emitting that frequency, and that's more into vibration. And then the subconscious mind is so important. So these are the ideas. Conscious. I really don't think I spelled that right. Yeah. Okay. So your conscious mind, what ideas you're taking in, and then the ones that you're internalizing, the ones that you actually believe, are what's going to have you to vibrate, have your body vibrate. So our bodies are constantly vibrating. We're just, a molecular structure of energy, basically. So it's so important that what we suppress on the subconscious mind, and so much of this is what you've been programmed with at birth. So it's like you're on autopilot. It's just like once you learn to drive the first time. I don't know if you guys remember the first time driving. My little cousin is just learning how to drive. My dad, like, he just like lost it. He's like, oh my gosh, she drives just like you did when you first started. And it was like, when you're first trying to turn, it's like just hard to wrap your head around. And now we can listen to music and eat food and put on makeup and do all of this while driving. But at first it was like really hard. So it's just like you become habitually in ways of being, ways of thinking. So that's what the self-mastery success challenge is all about, is becoming the person who thinks in a new way, becoming the person who acts in a new way, becoming the person who attracts in a different way. And it's all about, how you show up, how you think, how you act. And so that's what I really want to instill in you today, is that you can really change. So Bob Proctor calls it a paradigm. Basically, it's your habitual way of being. So the habits that you have. So I really want you to create success habits in your life by understanding who you are, how the mind works, and then reprogramming that belief system, that thought system. So you can show up with more confidence. You can really start living that life that you've always wanted to live. You can step into your greatness, knowing that greatness is who you are, that pure love, pure joy, pure awareness, this just radiating a light of being, like that is you. And so that's more into the spirit. So talked a little bit about the conscious and the subconscious, and then that's going to determine the state of your body and what you're going to like vibrate at and what you're going to act and attract on. So even if you want to have, which is I thought was so fascinating, because this is going a little bit more into self-image, but if you have, say you have like a heavier set, like self-image. And so if you think that, and that's the image you have in your mind, then you're not going to be taking the actions to work out and to eat healthier, because you're like, well, that's just who I am. And that's, that's just my body type. But if you put this image of, say, just a really fit person, like that's who you want to be, that's how you want your body to be, then that's the impression that, because our mind's thinking in pictures. That's why I was trying to do this little stick person of kind of like the mind body, because we think in pictures. So when you can see that picture, then that's what's going to get impressed on your subconscious mind. That's why I see it as like conscious, subconscious. So whatever's getting, put into your mind and then impressed on your subconscious mind. I've just been, studying this information for a while. So that's kind of how I see it. And then letting it vibrate through your body. And then whatever so the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. So I'm sure you guys, have probably heard me say this if you followed me. So I have curly hair, and if I see a little curly hair ball, then sometimes I'll freak out because I don't like spiders. And so my whole body will react like I just saw a spider. And there's also these experiments that say they were putting their hands in hot water. They were putting them in this like lower kind of like theta brain wave. I was certified in theta energy healing. So I'm just fascinated on, like how energy works, how we can use all of, just the wonders of the world and universal laws to our advantage. So in this theta like state, just kind of a low hypnosis, they put their hands in hot water and experiment with different people, and they told them, we're going to put your hand in boiling hot water. So their subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. So what happens is, the people are it's like lukewarm water, like basically room temperature, a little warmer, and their hands start blistering because their subconscious mind is getting that reaction. Just like when I thought I saw a spider, my heart started pumping. I got, scared and anxious and jumped up, and it was a hairball. If I would have known it's a hairball, I would not have had that physical reaction in my body. So that's why I really want to stress the importance. And you might have heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks about this all the time, but breaking the habit of being you. That's like one of the books I'm reading right now on Audible. I guess I'm listening to it on Audible. And it's fascinating because it just talks about how you can break the habit. So neurons that fire together wire together. So there's this like picture of the brain that he was showing us, and it was just like these neurons that are firing based on our thoughts and our thinking and our habits and the way we're acting. So they're firing and firing. After they fire so long together, then they start to wire. So it's just kind of like driving the car. So we're driving the car, and now we don't have to think about like, oh my God, brake, turn signal, all the things. It just becomes an autopilot. It's just those are neurons that are wired together already. All right, so that was 2 parts of the mind. I'm so glad you guys are doing so many comments. How cool. Okay, I'm gonna check your comments really fast. Margaret, Griselle, Brenda, Sierra, hey ladies, hi Amber. So you've not received the workbook. Okay, yeah, so definitely check Facebook. I did put it in Messenger. If we're not friends, I wasn't able to attach it. So yeah, the best thing to do would be check your email, send me a message so I can do it. You're coming in and out. Can't really hear. Oh no, well, I hope you guys can hear me now. Looks like we still have a bunch of people on, so that's awesome. In their belief. Yeah, so what do we believe is true? Hey, Sierra. Awesome, so good to see you guys here. So yeah, so what do you believe is true for yourself? We're not going to go farther than we believe we can go. So you might have heard this before. The 4-minute mile, they said if you were to run a mile in under 4 minutes, you're going to die. Your lungs are going to just collapse and you're going to die. So nobody even attempted to do it. But there was one guy who attempted to do it. Now people are breaking the 4-mile barrier. So it's just crazy. If you believe it, you can achieve it. I think that so much. And we live in a world of infinite possibilities where anything is possible. So it's like, why not? So, if you're going to have doubts on anything, people always want to doubt their what's possible. I want to say, like, why don't you try to doubt that it is impossible and just go for it? Like, we could do anything. So the next question I really wanted you guys to ask yourself is, so who am I? And I want you to write this down, because who you are is going to dictate how you show up and what you believe is possible. So like, who do you think you are at your core? It could be mind, body, spirit. But yeah, I think it's a really important question to ponder. And the deeper the questions and the more powerful the questions, the more powerful the answers you're going to get. So for me, I think this is one of the most powerful questions that we could seriously ask ourselves. Changes in the world. Oh, you guys are fun. Awesome. So who are you? And you know what I want to do is, because I love to meditate, because this is what's helped me learn who I am. So if you guys just want to take a deep breath with me and kind of close your eyes, And breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And it's really good practice just to breathe and, letting the oxygen flow through your body. But when you're breathing, I really want you to be aware of the thoughts that are coming in and out of your mind. Being aware of, the sensations on your body, maybe the temperature outside. Just keep breathing. And be aware of the watcher, the presence that's observing the breath, the presence that is observing the sensations on your body. And as you breathe and observe your breath, you can realize that you are the observer, that you are that presence beyond the body that's observing the body. So just keep breathing just for a couple more breaths. And as we're here going into day 1 of the 5-day challenge, I really want you to set an intention for yourself. What is it that you want to get out of these 5 days together? Do you want a deeper sense of self? Do you want a deeper connection to who you are? Do you want to understand how you can show up with confidence? Do you want to create a new self-image? So really think about who you truly are. What does that feel like? What comes to mind? What feels true? All right. I just love getting quiet and still. Then you open your eyes and it's like, everything's a little bit brighter, breathe a little easier. So yeah, answer that question of who am I? So for me, the who am I is spirit, like I am that observer. I am that pure awareness, that pure presence that is observing the world. So they say through our perception is how we see the world. And I saw the most fascinating, like, you guys might have seen that like gold dress or blue dress, like white and gold or blue and whatever. So there's that thing that went around the internet. And now there's this other page that I saw. So there's this sound that goes off, and then you read these 2 boxes. One says like green stairs, the other one says blue storm. And so it says like ding, and it says you'll hear the one that you read. And it was so interesting because that's exactly what was happening. It was basically the one that you were reading was the one that you were hearing. And so I tried it again and I heard the green and I heard the blue. And it was like the most fascinating thing because it's like whatever you choose to see, whatever you believe to see, whatever you're perceiving is like how you're going to see it. So I just thought it was like the most fascinating thing. So in truth, so I'll talk a little bit about spirit now. So in truth, I study Course in Miracles, but I'm not religious, I would say at all. But I think everyone needs to have some kind of foundation of spirituality because then you think that there's something bigger than you. It's not just you in this fleshly bodysuit that's going to, live and die and turn to dust. But really that you are, made in the image of God, or you could say a part of the universe, or that divine love, that infinite wisdom, pure, energy. So however you want to see it, but just that oneness, when you realize you are one part of the whole and that, without you, then the whole is incomplete. So it's like, that just means that you matter so much. Like your presence is incomplete in the whole. So I think when like you really start to get that at your core, like I am so important, I matter so much, and you are created by divine love because like just you're created out of love for love's presence. So it really just gets to be such a beautiful concept once you like really understand this. Like you are just like made, and then also like I think God, from my knowledge and experience and study, God sees you perfect and sinless and guiltless. So this is a lot of people have guilt and shame around things they've done or said or haven't done. They're constantly living in the past or worries about the future. And so that's why it's so important to like breathe and meditate into that now moment, because you realize in this now moment, everything just is and it's perfect. And really, I believe in eternity. So there's always the now, because you can never live in the past. I mean, your mind can go there and your mind can go into like future anxieties, worries, excitement, but you're never there because you're always now. So I think it's a really interesting concept. Lori, hello. So good to see you. So yeah, we're really just talking about that spirit self, that true self. And so I really want you to just today, for tonight, so we're gonna, yeah, finish going through the workbook. So each session for the next 5 days is gonna be about 45 minutes. So yeah, we're like about halfway done through our session, but I do want to give some time for questions at the end if you guys have any questions or comments. But I want to finish the workbook, and then every day there's going to just be some kind of action item to do, just so we can really implement the learning. I don't want this to be like a lecture hall or something that you watch and that you don't actually take action on, because it's the action that's really going to get it like in your body on a cellular DNA level, where you can start making that transformation that you really want to be making. So yeah, really making sure that you're doing the work and not just watching. And I've been guilty myself where I know what to do, but I'm not really doing it. Like even just writing down affirmations or constantly listening to those affirmations on repeat, or doing like a thought checker throughout the day, or different things that, I've used and my coaches have told me to do, just like having my goal card and, looking at it throughout the day, visualizing, because you want to put yourself in that state of being at all times. And you always want to like be growing. The whole point of having a goal is to grow into the person who can achieve the goal. So that's why this whole self-mastery is just the most fascinating thing to me. So I'm actually really curious what you guys wrote. So when you wrote on your notebook, who am I? What came to mind? Do you feel like you are like a beautiful, bright light in the world? Do you feel, like I don't know, I'm a mother, I am a nurturer, I'm a caregiver, I am, like the child of God. I'm curious on like who you think you are, because that definitely will determine what you think is possible for you. So yeah, as you're watching and commenting, we'll keep going. And so once you realize who you are, so we are the creators. So we are creating our life. I believe that so much with everything. And it's fun when you can go back into an instant of your life when you've seen that happen. So I feel like I see it happen all the time. Especially one of my biggest things is I love to travel, and I've just had like the most beautiful experiences. I just knew I was going to do it. And so that's the thing, when you know without a doubt anything's possible. So I love visualizing. So I've made vision boards on traveling to South Africa and Asia and Korea, Japan. And so I just put it out there, like, this is where I want to go. I don't know how, but I know it's possible, and that's what I want. And then it starts working out. So what had happened was my friend, a family friend, got married in Africa and said, yeah, just get the plane ticket, you could stay with us. And the craziest thing is, so the night of her wedding, we stayed at the actual safari where the wedding was going to be held. And so we had these little huts that were right in the middle of safari. You open up the back door curtain, and then you're there with the animals in the middle of the middle of the safari. And that was exactly the vision on my vision board. And so when I had opened it, her friend from college was at the other little bungalow next door, and she had that song. It's like, God bless the rains. I haven't, not the singing voice, but God, that song like Africa. It's like, God bless the rains down in Africa. Oh my God, it was so good. So it starts playing, and I was like, this is creation at its best. Like, this is how it happens. This is how it works. I did not know how I was going to get there, but it happened. Same thing with going to Japan. I had a friend that lived in New York. I was like, I want to come watch the ball drop. She's like, we're actually going to Japan. You should come. The whole trip was planned out. So these things, once you know what you want, it happens. Even with different jobs, with starting my business, I just had the vision of what I want. And it's really important to have people around you that believe in you and that you can see their growth and what's possible. And then it was easier for me to visualize how I can do that and to step into that reality by watching them do it. So the next thing that I really want you to answer is, what's possible for you if you had absolutely no fears? Like, how would you live? What would you do? Because this is just the starting point of like sparking those desires, and let your mind go crazy. So, say, yeah, you want to make $1 million a year. You want to be a best-selling author. You want to, have a nonprofit organization that, is educating young women, or like whatever it is you want to do. You say you have a jewelry line and you want to, get your products into, all the major, jewelry stores, or you want it to go into all, just Target, Sears, all the other, stores. Like, you can really do anything. I believe so much so anything's possible, but you have to become the person that has this, because then you start walking, talking, acting like that person. So it's not just enough to have the strategy. You really have to become the person that has that. So you see yourself as that, other people see you as that, and you have that confidence to say, because there's, if anyone could do it, you can do it. So say you want to get your jewelry in Target. I mean, you just make sure you have a good product, good brand. If you have a great brand story, so people could really relate to you, just call the salesperson and say, what are you looking for? Make sure you're having your costs down. It's like, the contracts in place, and you can really hire people for the different things that you don't know how to do. So the how and the business strategy is not as important as you becoming the person that has the confidence and the belief in herself, and the to go out there and do the things, because we know so much more than we're actually doing. So what is possible for you if you had absolutely no fears? All right. Oh, I love hearing this. All right. Sounds like some of you guys are saying, who am I? Okay. So I am a healer and I am a shift maker. Ooh, I love that, Margaret. Yeah. We're all have that healer in us. And I think sometimes we need someone to bring that out. So Margaret, that's what the world needs so much. So I'm glad you said that. I am the energy that flows within the universe, one of creation. Oh my God, that is so beautiful, Amber. Ooh, that gave me chills. Yeah, and that's the truth, you guys. We are just this a massive energy. And we're created in expansion. And this is the thing. I was listening to Abraham Hicks this morning. It's never done. Creation's never done. We're constantly expanding. So it's like enjoying the process, enjoying the journey. Even when you have a goal, you don't want to stress out on the way to the goal. You don't want to like it's basically you just have to enjoy the journey, because it's never going to be done. Once you get to that goal, there's going to be another goal. So it's just like when you were saying that, so I'm the energy that flows within the universe, one with creation. Like that's just the most beautiful thing I think I've ever heard. Because it's like that's just so true. It's like we're constantly creating and evolving and expanding. And when you know that and you can be that and you can live that, it's just a beautiful place to come from. Let's see. We have Lori saying, I am light, love, and from the stars, here to have fun as life on this physical plane should be, and to share that love and light with others. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. That is 100%. I think that too. Yeah, we are just meant to shine bright. And, like light casts out darkness. And so there's like a lot of darkness in the world, but like us all being the light and being these light workers and knowing that we can really start casting out the darkness and enlightening other people and bringing them to know the beauty that's within them. So I just think that is beautiful. All right. So the next thing was, what are the current beliefs that you hold about yourself and what's possible? So really there's this, so I used to, when I was like in 2010, I started going to a Christian church. So I did do a lot of study on the Bible. And then now I've been studying Course in Miracles and going to Unity Spiritual Center, and I was teaching some of A Course in Miracles. But I know the Bible says, by your fruit, you shall know them. So basically it's like whatever your current reality reflects is because that's what you've like planted in your mind. So by your fruit, you shall know them. So really think about what's going on in your current surroundings, and then what beliefs you had that created that. Like, do you believe it's possible to have a fit body? Do you believe it's possible to have a business? Do you believe it's possible? And you'll know your beliefs by what you've created. And we're constantly growing and evolving, and no guilt, no shame, everything's happening in my eyes exactly as it should. There's this quote from A Course in Miracles. It says, trust would settle every problem now. And I just think that's so big and so important, because then it's like, I should have done this, I could have done that, I wish I would have, like, there's like none of that. It's just trusting and knowing you're exactly where you need to be exactly right now. And one of the things, I was listening to this Course in Miracles, Living a Course in Miracles audiobook call. I was watching the recording because I was actually out of town in Napa this weekend. I had so much fun. But they were saying, and this is what I find so fascinating, because he's a spiritual teacher, but he does talk a lot about like what's happening in, a physical world, or as we see it, physical world, because the Course in Miracles says that, all of this is really just kind of like a split off part of the mind that is like dreaming this whole like world of creation up, and in truth we're like one with God and spirit. But basically it's saying, so in this physical world that we believe we're in, it's like you can shift in and out of different dimensions at all times based on like what your beliefs are and what you think is possible, based on like like if you need to learn certain lessons, but if you've already learned a lot of lessons, you don't have to go through it again. So you'll shift into a different dimension. And also I heard this thing about collapsing time. And so basically, and even like universe is collapsing because it's like we're evolving to not need that. It's just like so fascinating. I think it's like really, really fascinating. well, let's see what Crystal said. So she says, I am a leader, a force for change, light, a nurturer, environmentalist, and a lover. Very awesome. I love it, you guys. Very expansive group we have here. Just so awesome to see. All right, so the next question, last question on the workbook is, am I living from the inside out or the outside in? So now that we have our little stick person that I was showing you, so we have our conscious, subconscious, and then the body. And so you notice that the mind is a lot bigger than the body here because the mind is dictating what the body is going to do. So that's why the body's just kind of there, but the mind is what's really controlling it. So when I say living from the inside out or outside in, so when you're living from the outside in, we have these 5 senses. And so I just have these like little, looks like some like crazy hair, spiked hair. But so we have see, smell, taste, touch, and hear, right? See, smell, taste, touch, and hear. So those are our outside in sensory factors that you have. So are you living on, so what's possible? So what I see is, do you think what you see is possible, or are you living from inside out? So inside out would be like using your imagination to see what's possible, created the image in your mind before you see it in your outside reality. Living from a place of, so you can create memory. So Bob Proctor says there's these 6 mental faculties. And so one of them is memory. And so you can create a future memory in your mind. And so really when like, I know Course in Miracles says, Bible says like the end's already written. Course in Miracles says like creation was kind of like happened in an instant. That was like the holy instant where like everything was corrected. But it's like, are you living from, you can, so basically with memory, you can create a future memory of how you want to see yourself and what you want to have already done. And because the subconscious mind is so powerful and doesn't know the difference, you can create it and then you start to see it in your reality because it's already imprinted on your mind. And you want to constantly go to that image as often as possible, because what we do is we're constantly living in the past, or we have the same, so they say that there's 90% of the same thoughts we're having every single day. Imagine, so if we can change a lot of those thoughts. And so what I do is I set reminders in my phone. I just say like, I'm brilliant, courageous, and powerful, and I'll just have that going off, or I'm a child of God, or I'll just have that going off. So yeah, I just have different reminders. I also have this like voice loop where I listen to my self-image script and affirmations, because I really want to like change the way that I've looked at things in the past. And so many of us, like we have this ego that wants to survive and that wants to keep us in survival, to keep the body alive. So it's like, it has a negative, like we just think more negatively just for survival reasons. So we can't feel like guilty or bad about it, but that's just kind of how the brain's wired. So we want to rewire it so we can show up as our best, most authentic, powerful self, right? So there's the memory. So you can create a future memory, and you can also heal past memories. Choose to look at it in a different way. So instead of, seeing that person was so evil, but no, that person was, scared, and that person didn't know better, and that person, whatever. So changing the story, and then changing the story for you instead of like, oh, I was so stupid, I should have known better, I wish I didn't do that. I was doing the best I could with what I knew at the time. So, change that memory from the past even to be more empowering. So change your, future memories to be something that you really want to see in your future. So he has memory. He also has will. So we can really develop our will. So will is like our willpower to do something, but it's like willpower, the will is really about focus. So focusing in on what you really need to do in the moment to be that person that has the success you desire. So there's memory, will, imagination. So that's basically our mind thinking in pictures. So what is the image? So for example, you want to buy a car, and you're not going to just have like a little red emoji car. Like you're going to have exactly the car you want. So is it, like a 3 Series BMW, like that's 2017, or, just like, you have to think of exactly the car. Like I want a red Jaguar, X Series supercar, like whatever it is, you have to be very, very specific, know the year, make, model, and then picture yourself driving it. Like, where are you driving? Are you like driving along the beach? Like, what does it feel like? If you can test drive it so you can really get that vision more, then, that's what you should do, because you want to get as clear as possible with your vision. So we have memory, imagination, the will, what else is there? Oh, reasoning and intuition. So the reasoning is just, why do you want it? Like, having that powerful, strong why. around, and then also, is it even possible? But if it's possible for anyone, then it's possible for you. And you don't have to think of it in that sense, because it's like the guys that created, the Wright brothers that made the airplane, there was no reason in that except that they wanted to travel farther, faster. And so you don't even have to think of it, it's like, oh, they can do it, I can do it, because you can, be a trailblazer and create your own path too. You just have to really believe that anything's possible. And then there's the intuition, and that's knowing that you're going to be guided. So this is all living from the inside out, instead of like looking at your outside circumstances, like my parents never had this, I don't know anyone that's ever had this or done this. But living from the inside out, where you're like, I know I'm a powerful creator, I know that I'm going to be guided, I know that I am the light of the world, that I am the energy flowing, in the universe of creation. Like when all these thoughts, you guys, keep those thoughts top of mind. Anytime your mind tries to shift, bring it back to who you truly are, all these powerful things that you were just saying. So once you talk about living from the inside out or outside in, start digging into that. So what are the beliefs? What are the thoughts I'm thinking? And then how can I shift that using some of these other faculties that I had mentioned? All right. So that was basically the workbook for today. Just want to kind of check. Thank you. Awesome. Love it. Okay, so we're down to our last couple of minutes here. So if you do have any questions, please just put them in the comments and I'll get to it. So right now, I just wanted to say what the homework is for tonight. And I'm going to be giving out some prizes at the end of the week for those that are doing the homework. And so the way that I'll track that is if you just post it in our Facebook group what the homework is. And then, so tomorrow I'll share some of what the prizes are. But for now, I just want to share the homework. So you guys can get it. And it's really not about getting a prize, even though that's kind of fun too, but it's really about you getting that transformation for yourself. Like, I really don't want this to just be like education, like we're in not implementation. I want it to really be both, where you're actually spending this time, because our time's so valuable here, even though time doesn't really exist. But we have our 24 hours in the day. There's so many other things we could be doing. I want you to really get the most out of our time together. So this is the homework. So journal out. If you had no fears, what would you do? What would that look like? And then write down the belief systems that you currently have that are hindering you from getting what you want if you had no fears. So maybe, I feel, I don't know anyone that's done it. Like, I feel I'm not going to have, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough education. I don't have enough degrees and certificates. I don't have, write down all of those belief systems you have that are currently hindering you from doing what you would do if you were fearless. And you could just do anything in the whole world. Like, I can be a best-selling author. I can have retreats around the world. I can, make $1 million in a year, like whatever it is that you really want and what you would do if you were fearless. Maybe take 6-month cruise, whatever. And then what's hindering you? Like, oh, if I took 6 months, then maybe my kids, wouldn't get the best education. But, now people are doing online learning. So you realize maybe they could just do it online and make it an even better education. So really write down what would you do if you're fearless, and then digging into that, and then thinking about where your beliefs came from. Why do I believe that it's not possible? So then you're like, oh, I remember that one time, my dad told me money doesn't grow on trees, or, he told me that whatever, so it's like thinking back to where, like, I know my mom and my grandma, when she retired, worked at a thrift store. So we were always going to thrift stores. And so for me, like, now when I want to buy these fancy dresses or shoes or purses, I'm just like, oh, it's so expensive. And like, that's not how I grew up. It's not how I live. It's not how, but so I have these like funky beliefs around spending a lot of money on clothes. And so that's like something I really want to like work around. But yeah, it's like, where did that belief come from? So writing it out. And then what else? Yeah. So basically, you're not going to entertain a thought that you don't really believe. Our beliefs are stored in our subconscious mind. So it's really important to know where you are now and where you want to be. And then we'll really map out throughout the week the steps to get there. So so I want you to share, declare, and empower your breakthroughs. So it's really important. Yeah. So when you tell yourself and when you write it down, you're going to get it way deeper just within yourself. And then when you tell somebody else, it just expands, whatever you focus on grows. And so it's just going to focus on like where you want to be and changing the belief system. So it's just like a broadcasting that you're ready, telling the universe, like, I'm ready for more, bigger, better, whatever. So That's day one. I hope you guys enjoyed it today. Tomorrow, we're going to go into creating a clear life vision. So, first, it's really about understanding who you are and what you want. And then tomorrow, we'll kind of create the vision of what that looks like and how we can get there. So, that was it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Yes, choosing to be happy regardless of the circumstances. Yes, I will post the homework questions in the Facebook page. Thanks for asking that. That will, I think, definitely be helpful. And you know what? I really liked this. Yay, I'm so excited, Griselle. Thanks for being here. I love that you said to be happy regardless of circumstances, because we get to choose how we want to see something. And a lot of times, how I see people is I see them as just different, like, Course in Miracles, Bible, they always say, like, like think of people as like childlike. And so in the sense that they're innocent, and the sense that, they just don't know better. So it's like, whatever the circumstances, if it's somebody else, if it's whatever you're dealing with, like, just go back to like the basic gratitude moments, and then that'll really help you be happy no matter what. Where you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm breathing, I have two hands, I have my health, I have like food in the fridge, running water, running toilets. Louise Hay has this beautiful meditation, and I'll post it for you guys. But it's just like you wake up in the morning and it's just like, oh, I'm so grateful for the appliances in my fridge. I'm so grateful for the bed that I got to sleep on. Like, and it's just like, gratitude after gratitude, and such a like peaceful like melody. And you just wake up and you're like, oh man, like I'm lucky and I'm alive, and all the things. So it's really great. So thank you so much for being here, you guys. We are at the 45-minute mark now. So if you have any questions, let me know. You can always post your questions in the Facebook group as well. I'll post the homework. I can't wait to see what you would do if you're fearless, because it's so exciting. And fear, it's like there's love or fear. So constantly shifting back and returning back to love is the ideal. But it's like you have to recognize what is it that's in the way, so you can work through that and remove those blocks. So I love you guys. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. I love you so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, take care.